Sometimes it's about more than manifesting. You got to do the work. To Keep It Uplifting podcast, I'm your host, Uplifting, and I have with me today Taylor. Uh, say what's up to the listeners, Taylor.
Hi, guys.
So I wanted to bring you on because we talk about motivation a lot on this podcast, and I believe in mindset shifting first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um I've seen a lot of videos or information on the law of vibration or the law of attraction. But what interested me here was I was watching a lot of your videos and you were talking about the law of assumption. And it's something I've never seen, heard of before. And I thought it would be good for our listeners to maybe add this to their mindset, their repertoire. So um could you start with what is the law of assumption?
Okay. So the law of assumption is pretty much just assuming something within your imagination, your mind, and then waiting for your outside reality to catch up to your thoughts.
So why the law of assumption over, or how does it differ from the law of vibration or law of attraction? And why is that a better, or why is that your choice of manifesting things into your life?
I just think like with the law of attraction, it's like honestly, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, so with the law of attraction, you're um getting in the same like vibrational alignment as what you desire. So you're like doing inner work and just figuring out how to, like I said, just get into the same alignment vibrationally by doing inner work. Um, but with the law of assumption, it's pretty much the same thing, but you're still doing the inner work. And that's something that a lot of people don't think, but that's another topic. But you're still doing the inner work, but you're just pretty much role playing and you're tricking your mind into believing that you have it now. And I think that the law of assumption is better because it's not so much that I'm trying to get to something, it's that I already have it.
Right.
And it's like I said, you're just tricking your mind to believe that you already have it. And instead of like, I feel like it's better for me, instead of like, oh, I have to do all of this to get to this. It's like, oh, I already have it, but I do have to do all of this in order for it to appear within my reality. So like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just that with the law of assumption, you're just claiming that you already have it.
So what's the best way to practice this, right? Like with I write down my goals every day. I write down tasks and things like that to kind of win the day. So like, do you have to write down your manifestations for the law of assumption, or could you just say them out loud? Like, what's best practices for this?
It's just dependent on the individual. Like for me, I write it down and then I write it down from the point that I already have it and I give gratitude. So I'll say, thank you for this 10K month that I made. Like, I'm so grateful. I made $4,000 today. Like, and I just write from as if it already happened. But some people, they just say the affirmations like out loud. It's already done. I do that too. I mean, you just got to find something that works for you and where you believe it. Like where it's not just, oh, at first it is going to be, oh, I'm just saying that, but eventually you'll really start to believe it. Like, oh, I do have 10, like I did make $10,000 this month. And I mean, even though it's not really happened, you like really know, like, oh, no, this is for me. I did it. Yeah.
So I like that you said that it comes from a place when you write down these manifestations, is from a place of gratitude. Like, is that the one of the most important pieces of the law of assumption? Like, should you be grateful for, or can you just write it down and like I just write down manifestations sometimes, and I'm not saying I'm thankful for this. Like, that's what I'm saying with best practices. Should you say I'm thankful for already having this? Is that what you were saying?
The reason why I do it, I think so. Some people don't. Some people feel like you don't have to. The reason why I do is because when I feel grateful, it really feels like it's already done. So it's like for me, just writing it down, it's like, yeah, it's possible. Yeah, this is true for me. But just to have that extra step of really feeling gratitude, it's like, oh, this is done. Like it kind of puts me in the space of already having it. Like, even though it's not physically there, I really feel like I have it when I have
Mm.
gratitude with saying the words.
Mm. So that changes your immediate. How does that impact your actions? How about that? That's what I'm trying to,
Um,
like. Can I just write stuff down, assume that I have it, and it's just going to appear?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to take aligned action though. That's the thing. Like
Okay.
the more you work with the law of assumption, like I say, like people think the law of assumption involves no inner work, and it absolutely does. Because if I say something like, "Oh, I made $4,000 today," but internally I'm not feeling like internally I'm feeling like that's not possible for me, or it just puts a pit in my stomach because I don't believe that's for me, then I still have to go in and do the inner work. So a lot of it has to do with convincing yourself with dealing like your self-concept, changing your self-concept to convince you that you are worthy of what you want. And then when you change your self-concept, you gain a relationship with your body. So you start feeling when it's good to do certain things, like, oh yeah, this is good for me to do. Like I heard something that's like, if it's not a hard yes, then don't do it. And that's pretty much like your body. I feel like with using the law of assumption, when you are doing the inner work, your body is going to let you know that this is the right action to take. So you working smarter, not harder.
Okay. And have you seen any immediate results from this mindset shift?
I wouldn't say, I mean, immediate, it takes time, but I've seen a lot of results from this.
Okay.
Just changing my mindset and just claiming that I already have something and then it coming within a few weeks or a few months. And just put in like I said, the work is maybe texting this person. I get an idea to text this person. Why? I have no idea, but I text this person, leads to a conversation, and before you know it, they're doing something for me that I didn't ask, but it just kind of came up. And it's like, this is aligned with what I want. And this is taking me towards where I'm trying to get to. So just things like that. And like I said, the main thing is believing in myself. Like before, I really pay attention to my body. So if I say something, I pay attention to how I feel when I say it. I don't believe that. That's not true for me. So just keep working with it, my beliefs by affirmations. And then eventually I'll say things and I believe it. And I'm like, okay, it's like, I know it's around the corner.
Was there was there something that drove you to seek out uh more spiritual alignment for the law of assumption, or like did you look up the law of vibration? Did you look up the law of attraction and you kind of weighed these all against each other? Like, was there something that took place that you said, hey, I have to change my mindset, I have to get my life together type of deal, or no?
Um, I don't know. Like I feel like the law of attraction, I just learned about it. I mean, I didn't just learn about it. I always knew about it, but it was just one of those things I kind of brushed off
Mm-hmm.
last year. And then I seen The Secret. When I saw The Secret, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know? And I was already, I got into spirituality a while ago, just like from depression. I was depressed and I was just looking for some type of outlet. And I got into spirituality. I first started off with like non-duality, which is just this super spectrum of like oneness. There's only one consciousness exists, and it's some real. I don't know how to call it. I don't know exactly what to call it, but that's where my spirituality first came from,
Right.
just from this non-duality background, and then like I didn't even believe in free will. I still kind of don't. But anyways, um,
Why not?
just because I feel like everything is already written. Um, I think that
Expound on
free
that for
will.
me.
I think that like it's already written. Like it's the stars. Like I say, everything's already written in the stars. Like I feel like everything's already whatever's going to happen. The decision that we're going to make, it's already been made before we become conscious of that choice. And like scientists have studied it too, where they know the choices that we're going to make before we make it. Um, but I believe that it's an illusion. So like illusion doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And see, that's what I should say. Illusion, like free will is an illusion. It doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't exist. It just means that it doesn't exist the way we think it does. So like the same way that you think you're you and I'm me. This is non-duality background. The only
Okay.
reason why you think that you're sitting over there and you're looking at me is your thoughts. But
Mm.
like besides thoughts, it's just the happening. It's just one cosmic dance taking place. But then thoughts come in to tell us that no, I'm looking at my phone. And that's okay because it gives us this experience. But yeah, that's just like the background that I came from.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, for me, I was like, whatever. Like if my destiny is already determined, like I don't really need to do much. Just try to find peace. That was like my objective at first, is finding peace. And then eventually, um, last year, like I said, I seen The Secret and I liked it because I guess I was just trying to get like materialistic things. And I was like,
Right.
okay, this is good in order to get material, like the materialistic goodies. And I was just listening to a lot of YouTube videos about it. And it was really making sense to me. Actually, it wasn't last year. Do you know who Abraham Hicks is?
Yes, the author or the author,
Uh,
right?
yeah, the
Or
author, Abraham
right.
Hicks.
Yeah.
He's real big into the law of attraction. Yeah.
Right.
I was,
Right.
I
Right.
was listening to her for 2 years. So I guess it wasn't just last year, but I was just listening to it. It didn't really, I didn't start practicing it. Like it sounded good. Listening to it gave me hope. It made me feel good, but I don't know if I necessarily believed in it.
Right.
But when I saw The Secret, it just like sparked something within me. And I started like listening to a lot of stuff on YouTube. And then Neville Goddard, one of his speeches came across, and it was the law of assumption. And it just made sense. Like I can't, and he comes from it from a very spiritual perspective. Like
Hmm.
it just made so much sense to me. And I started practicing it. Like he had all of these different techniques, and I just started doing it every single night before I went to bed. I would like dream of my end goal, like my apartment. I would just dream because I was living with a whole bunch of other people at that point. I literally had no money. I was working like a job where I wasn't even getting 40 hours a week. Like I had no idea how I was going to be able to afford to live on my own. But every single night I would go to sleep and I would see myself walking in my apartment, walking to my refrigerator, making dinner, like just see myself doing
Right.
these things.
Right.
And then things just started, like before I knew it, the money came in. Things like I had an eviction. The eviction was cut in half. I have no idea how. Like the last month of that eviction, it was way higher. I
Right.
had the money in order to pay the, like it was just like things were just happening. And I was like, oh, and that was the first time I knew that it worked.
Mm.
And I had 3 goals. My goals were get $5,000, get my apartment, and become a life coach. And those are my 3 goals. And I was like, I'm going to make this happen using the law of assumption. And it was like the first 2 happened, and the last one is in play. And like it took a while for the life coach, and TikTok came from that. And like I downloaded TikTok. I didn't even want to download TikTok. It was
Right.
just one of those things, like whatever, just download it because I was downloaded to shout out my YouTube. So I just downloaded it, and then it started like popping off, especially talking about the law of assumption.
So, not to cut you off, but on
No,
your
you're fine.
YouTube channel, you give more detailed you have more detailed videos about the law of assumption on there.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to post more often, but yes.
Okay. No, I just wanted to highlight where the listeners, if they wanted more information, they could potentially go to um just connect with you, one, and two, actually get more detail other than this podcast on the law of assumption.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. My YouTube, Mindset Coach Taylor. That's where you can find more information. I'm working on posting more, but I try to put longer, in-depth videos about the law of assumption on there.
Okay.
So
Do you have is there another place? I seen you had a Discord as well.
yeah, I
What's
have a
going on
Discord.
there?
I mean, I have a Discord. You can join it in order to talk about different manifestation spirituality. But
Mm,
I'm working on getting another group because that's everything. It's like I said, spirituality, astrology, manifestations, consciousness, dreams, which is cool.
right.
But it kind of like expanded more of what I wanted. So definitely, if you're looking for that type of group, you can join that Discord. But I'm going to create a group that's more focused on just the law of assumption aspect. That's
Well,
what I'm working on.
I just wanted I just like uh I like what you said from a standpoint of you were depressed and this helped you get out of that depression, and not only get out of that depression, but um a, achieve certain goals, one, and then two, obtain certain things that you were looking for because you were already manifesting, you were putting yourself in that moment, in that you were having those feelings of actually having these things, and they came true. So that's kind of what I talk about here on the podcast is just mindset, right? Like you
Mhm.
say tricking your mind, but I really think it's um real refocusing your subconscious, so
Mhm.
adding things to your subconscious so these become normal behaviors, right? So when
Mhm.
you were every night saying your manifestations and bringing these things into your reality, you were making your subconscious aware that this is what we have to get done. In my opinion, this is just my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, but
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
that's what we talk about here on the Uplifting podcast, on the Keep It Uplifting podcast. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, my last question is, what would you say to um someone who's trying to they've tried everything, and what would you say to them as far as, let me get this question out. I'm gonna have to edit this. But what would you say to someone who is depressed or down, or just looking for um the light at the end of the tunnel? What would you say to that
um,
to help them?
Honestly, I would tell them to start meditating. That's another big thing. Meditation is just start a daily meditation practice so you can understand that your thoughts are not like you are the observer of your thoughts. So when you start meditating, you'll start to see that these depressive thoughts, they're coming and going. The same with all of your thoughts, they're just coming and going. And the more that you can stand as the observer and just witness it come and go, you won't get so attached to it. So that's the main thing, is to meditate. And then from there, I mean, from there, that's up to you. But like, meditate. That's my number one advice.
Is that an example of inner work, or what is just
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Meditate, because like I said, when you're meditating and you're sitting there, like the way that I tell people to meditate is to focus on one thing. So it's like you're strengthening your awareness muscle. And it's important to strengthen your awareness muscle so you everything isn't just getting your awareness. Because like you were saying, like with the subconscious, your conscious mind is just looking for your subconscious beliefs everywhere. And when
Right.
you bring more awareness to your life anywhere, just bring more awareness, you'll notice that, like, oh, this is a limiting belief that I'm acting out or that I'm reacting to.
Mm.
And you'll just start to bring more awareness to your thoughts and your reactions to life. So that's why meditation, when you just focus on one point, and let's say you like, because you're going to think, we can't stop our thoughts, they're always in and out. So when you start thinking, that's okay. What matters is the fact that you recognize that you're doing it. Like, oh, I'm not focusing on the sound of the fan. Like, then just bringing that back, and you're just strengthening your awareness muscle, because it's like you have the ability to shift your perspective, to shift what you're paying attention to, and that's what meditation does.
Hmm. Well, I won't hold you. I won't have you give all the information to our listeners.
Okay.
Where can my listeners and anyone who sees this find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at coach mindset coach Taylor. Yeah, that's what it is. I just changed my name.
Okay. And I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. We'll definitely have you back again. And I
Sounds
just want
good.
to and I just want to say to all the listeners, keep it uplifting.
Absolutely, KIU. Thank you for having me. See you. Peace out.